Greetings, Benjamin J. from Ben's Trains with another in the series. We'll follow up on that Canadian Pacific that had the bent pilot. As you see, I've got it fairly well straightened out. It's far from perfect, but it's presentable. It runs well. Anyway, I just want to do a quick video, take this around and see this thing running. So I dropped a motor in it. It's up and running. Actually gives me a new locomotive. And why I said it's still far from perfect, it is presentable, and as you see, it actually runs quite well. So that's a motor I built out of parts. It has one mismatched wheel on it, but it is at least running. As you see. So again, it brings up, don't overlook the junk. You know, this thing was trash. This was absolute trash. Somebody had just absolutely butchered that pilot. And as you see, a few minutes with the parallel jaw pliers, and it looks at least presentable. Far from perfect, but actually it doesn't look bad compared to what it was. Anyway, I just wanted to do a quick video on this. If you're willing to put the time into this, you can take some real junk and turn it into at least decent running locomotives. As you see. So that was a trash shell, but as you see, it's up and running. Pulling that army train with no problem at all. Now this is assembled completely out of junk parts. The shell itself was trash, the motor was trash. Anyway, let's take this up. There's 50% power pulling, I think there's 12 cars in there, 10 cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars. But as you see, it's actually running quite well. That's 50% power. And again, while it's far from perfect, it is a running locomotive. Now this shell was missing both the markers, the handrails, and that pilot had been really badly bent. The shell itself, or the locomotive, had been dropped and really bent. The attaching points for that pilot goes on the shell itself. So rather than actually fixing the bend, they just bent the pilot up. And in the process of doing that, you literally just destroy it. So about 20 minutes, half hour, something like that. It's pretty meticulous. Sitting there with those pliers, going around it. But you see, I've got all the dents out of it. It has the original radius back in. Like I said, if you want to make this actually an invisible repair, paint it black. Sand it and then just respray the shell itself black. Look like an old black 397. And a black non-reflective paint will hide all this damage. You'll never know that was ever bent. Anyway, I just want to do a quick video on this. As you see, it's up and running. That's the important part. Still missing the markers, as you see, and the handrail. But it has a motor in it, and it is at least usable. It doesn't look too bad. I mean, from a foot away, you'd never know that the pilot was that badly damaged. Like I said, it's far from perfect, but it gives me a new running locomotive. So if you want to spend some time on this, you can either replace the markers or just fill in the holes with epoxy putty and spray paint over them. Of course, you can go ahead and put the markers back on. You can put the handrails back on. Again, it just depends how much time and effort and money you want to put into this. But in any case, the shell itself is in fairly good condition. The pilot, again, is at least usable, no longer dragging the rail, and in some semblance of order of its original shape. So I just want to do a quick follow-up on this. Again, don't overlook the junk. You know, if you're willing to put some time into these things, you can take some real junk and turn it into decent running locomotives. You can do this pennies on a dollar by doing stuff just like this. As you see, it's far from perfect, but it's usable, it's runnable, it looks more than acceptable. From a foot away, you'd never know it was ever damaged. So I just want to do a quick follow-up video on this. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, Thank you for watching.